Don't go anywhere, everybody. Coming up next, Sports Central, we have Kevin Jones from Warner University. We also have the famous, the infamous, all in one phrase, yeah, absolutely. That's Mike LePan from the Lakeland Center. We have a special segment for you from the Right Step School of Dance. 19, more than that. There's tons of these kids, 2013 national champions. Stick around, everybody, for this edition of Sports Central. Everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. No, this is not Hank Longo to my right, to your left on your TV dial. They don't have dials anymore, I guess.
No, you're showing your age there.
Yeah, well, this is Mr. Neil Duncan talking about my age.
Yeah.
Well, you're just like a year or two younger than me.
Not even close. Hey, this segment brought to us by the Hyatt Place in Lakeland and good partners right next to the Lakeland Center.
Lakeland Center, what a nice segue. There we go. Wow. You know, the Lakeland Center has just been unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It's the premier indoor facility for sporting events in Polk County, bar none. And of course, all the other great stuff that had, you know, the meeting facilities, which are also used for sporting events, and then the Yuki Theater, which, I mean, I still think that the Yuki Theater is one of the best theaters in all of Central Florida.
Well, it's a great venue.
All of Central Florida.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of different areas you can use and multi-purpose facility. And Mike LePan is here from the Lakeland Center. Runs the show over there, and Mike, you know, it was a good product when you got there. It's a fantastic product now, and what's new at the Lakeland Center?
Thank you. Well, we've had a great summer. Actually, we just coming off the Sunshine State Games and had a great run with the Sunshine State Games for, gosh, like our 5th year in a row now, and they've become good partners for us.
You got to give your staff a break after that one. That's a rough one.
And they can use it. We're doing a lot of touch-up, paint-up, clean-up right now and getting ready for the fall. We've got a great lineup coming next fall. So right now we do have a little bit of a lull. Feld Entertainment will be bringing the ice show in, where in the past they've come in for 6 weeks. This year they're going to be coming in for 3 weeks. That's a result of them building a new headquarters down in Palmetto. But they'll still be back.
Their building.
Yeah, they'll still be back. Yeah. It's going to be great, and so they'll be in September with the ice show and with Disney Live in the theater. So we just got a little bit of a lull right now, and we're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But you had, you know, we're talking about being busy, but the spring with the Florida High School Athletic Association, you guys were running nonstop.
Yeah, the tournament was a great tournament this year. You know, and this was the first year that they've actually showed the tournament live on Bright House. And I was a little bit concerned thinking the numbers would go down. And in fact, with the draw that we had, which was a decent draw, the numbers actually went up.
Really?
So we actually saw an increase of about 1,800 over last year, which really made me a little bit more comfortable because I was concerned about seeing a drop. They had seen a drop in football in Orlando. I think basketball is a different animal. People more comfortable going into the smaller venue than making the ride to go see the championships over there in Orlando, wherever they may have them. So we actually went up on our numbers. We had a great year with the FHSAA. The interactive sports experience was great for us. We plan on bringing that back again next year. We had the new relationship with Under Armour that we're sharing with FHSA in that relationship. They're coming back again next year. And so I think we're poised to do our final year of this contract. We've also given them an extension proposal, which they have favorably received. They haven't approved it yet, but they've received it favorably, and I think that all indications are we'll be extending the championships. I don't see any reason why they would not want to come back to us. We provide a great venue, providing a great staff not only for basketball, but the volunteers for wrestling are better than any volunteer group you're going to find in any of the other championships. And so we haven't given them any reason not to want to come back. And the fact that we're centrally located, and then we're looking at the renovation in 17, and we've talked to them about, you know, staying on to making sure that they're a part of that renovation and part of that new venue, because they like to put their athletes in the best venues they possibly can. We think that come 17, 18, we do renovation, will be a great venue for them.
Well, and you guys are being proactive in your efforts to keep the FHSAA here in Lakeland, and it's been an event that statewide has been known that if you're making it to the pinnacle of the sport, you're going to Lakeland. You want to get to Lakeland. That's kind of the battle cry. You know, the NCAA championships change every year where they're at, the high school championships in the state of Florida for, 30, 40 years, except for a few years in between, have been in Lakeland. And how does that bode well for us in renewing that agreement?
Oh, immensely. We want to be the Omaha. What Omaha is to college baseball, we want to be that to high school athletics and high school basketball. And you're right. I think particularly in wrestling and basketball, both boys and girls, I think that they look at it like they're coming to Lakeland. We have teams come in at the beginning of the season. They'll come in and do a walkthrough in the arena, and they want to charge their players up. And the coach will drive them in from all over the state and say, this is what we're working for. This is where we want to come back to, and this is where we want to be playing come February.
Well, it was interesting. We just had the National Softball Association Girls Fast Pitch Bee World Series opening ceremonies at the Lakeland Center. And Hugh Cantrell and some of the other directors, Hugh, of course, is the president, they're just blown away. They said, you guys are always first class.
Yeah.
And that's the statement, that's the reputation that precedes Polk County, Central Florida sports marketing and the area everywhere we go. And so when you treat customers like that, you put on a good show, and then Mark Tolan, the magician out of and mentalist out of Chicago, he was a trip, but it just oozed first class, and they were just thrilled and just so thankful that the way it was set up, the food service, everything was just outstanding.
We know that there are bigger venues, and we know there are newer venues, and our staff works hard knowing that they've got to counter that. They've got to provide exceptional customer service to the client, to the patrons, to everybody that comes in.
That's
to get them to come back. And we talk about that a lot because, again, given those bigger, better facilities, the only thing that's going to set us apart is customer service.
I think also the image. I know the Lakeland Civic Center has not been the name for a long time, and it's hard for people to get away from thinking of it as that, but it really isn't. It's not for the Rotary Club and the Chamber. Some of those events are hosted there, but these events are bringing in people from all over the area, not just sports, but the entertainment. Talk to us a little bit about the entertainment side of the equation.
Oh, we've got a great entertainment series, and we have our Broadway series every year. We have our entertainment series, which we were doing matinees and evenings. Now we're just doing evening shows rather than matinees, and what that's allowed us to do is to spend a little bit more on the artist, which brings up the level of the artists that we're bringing in, and they don't have to work twice in one day. Right. And there's some artists that won't work twice in one day, and so it really has provided us a new opportunity to do that. Same thing on the Broadway side. We're trying to bring in a little bit more contemporary shows that people want to see. It can't all be just the old standards. And that's why we're bringing in this year, for instance, Rock of Ages, which will be a great show. We're bringing in Godspell. We're bringing in Beauty and the Beast.
Which was hot back in the 70s. I remember when that first came out.
Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Sweet Charity,
diapers, but I still
West Side Story, a classic. So we've got a mix of the classics, and we've got a mix of contemporary shows that we'll have on our Broadway series.
Well, you've got some comedians coming in. Mark Russell, the Cirque Dreams Holidays. What is that?
Cirque Dreams Holidays is a holiday show in the mode and the methods of Cirque. You're going to see acrobatics, you're going to see illusion, you're going to see music and dance, all in a holiday theme, but in the theme of Cirque, as you would see whenever you go see any other Cirque show.
Is that going to be in the arena, or is it going to be in Yuki?
It's in the Yuki Theater. It's one night in the Yuki Theater. We did one a few years ago, not in the holiday theme, but we did a Cirque show. And it was fantastic in the theater, and this show will be as well. It's going to be a good show, and it's a good way to kick off the holiday season.
Yeah, but you've also got the headliners. You've got the big names like a Ron White. I mean, there's not too many.
That's his hero.
Yeah, Ron White. Ron White's been there. He sells out every time he comes in, which is great. He tries to show up about every 18 months in a venue like ours when he knows he can be successful. Right. Been a little bit longer this time, so we're pretty sure that it will sell out. And we've also got Drew Carey coming in. These are off the series shows, but again.
Jerry Lewis, too?
Jerry Lewis is on the series. This is one of those.
He was dead.
You say, well, a lot of people did. But, this is an opportunity. He's got his health back, and he's really in pretty decent shape for his age. But he's not going to do stand-up. What he's going to do, he's going to come and sit. He'll probably sit on a chair, and he'll share with the audience clips and talk about clips from his movies. His experiences in the old days with Dean Martin and so on. Certainly he'll be funny. I mean, it's not expected to be, just a serious evening. He will be funny, but it's an evening with Jerry Lewis, and we didn't want to pass up the opportunity to do it because he is getting up there. But he's a legend. We all grew up with him, and you don't want to miss it.
Timing on that one will be real interesting. When does he come in?
He's coming in the spring, I believe, in January.
Okay, so you're going to have a lot of snowbirds.
Oh yeah.
That will just like flock.
That'll
be sold out.
We try to
show.
centralize most of our entertainment series shows and non-series shows in those months between October, November, and all the way into April, because we certainly want to do it when the market's full of the snowbirds and so on, but we want to do it when our visitors are here as well.
Yeah.
You know, this is something we try to target the hotels. Because, you know, as your goal to put the heads in beds, our goal is to give them something to do while they're here. They'll come and they may go to Orlando, or they may go to Legoland, or they may come and see an event in the area. But at the same time, too, we want to make sure they know about the things that we're doing, because it provides an entertainment option while they're here.
Well, it might
I want to see
extend
them spend
their
that. The Canadians spend their loonies.
Yeah.
That's what the Canadian dollar is called, is loony.
We love the Canadian dollars, particularly when we do the Snowbird Spectacular in January.
Well, how can people get information about, you know, I've got this neat piece here, but where are they at and what can they do online?
Best thing now is go to our website. We just redid our website. We're really proud of it. We've made it really user-friendly. All the work was done in-house. It shows how capable our marketing staff is. All this incredible materials they put together is done in-house. But they've redone the website. This is done in-house. It's fantastic.
Neil stole mine already.
And, but the website is the best way to do it. They can get on there and get information about any of our shows. They can go right to our website and order tickets. They can order parking. They can even order meals. If they want to order dinner before one of the shows. We do a pre-show dinner before the entertainment Broadway series shows and some of the off-series shows.
Has that been pretty successful, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting more successful. In fact, we encourage people, if they're going to come to dinner, make a reservation. Because what happened, for years, you didn't have to make a reservation. Then all of a sudden it got more popular, and the people that weren't making reservations would just show up and, we're sorry, we're sold out.
Right.
It's like, oh, you know.
Like, what do you serve?
It's great. They usually serve, it's buffet style, but the chef always does some specialties. The chef will usually they'll carve beef. They'll have pasta stations where they're doing up pasta.
Oh, that's cool.
So usually there's some type of action station, and then there's some type of non-action station. So, but you can always generally get fish, chicken, beef, or chicken, or some combination. Salad, vegetable, tea, the whole 9 yards.
Wow,
and
good stuff.
What about the rodeo?
Rodeo's coming again. 35 years of the rodeo, working with Leroy Mason from out at River Ranch. He does a great show. He's a partner with us on that event, and we're looking forward to it. It sells out every year, so get your tickets early on that one.
Get those good tickets, because if you get down low enough when they do the barrels, barrel racing,
you get hit with the dirt.
You can get hit with the dirt a little bit.
And other stuff.
And other stuff.
They have rodeo monkeys last year. That's my favorite.
They come every few years
it.
as well.
Yeah.
It's usually we usually find some novelty act to fit in there as well.
Rodeo monkeys is the best part of the show.
We need a novelty act. Maybe we can get Hank and Mark some.
That didn't even come from me. That came from him. That was a good one. What's the website again?
www.thelakelandcenter.com.
Wow. Unbelievable. What a difference. The Lakeland Center now versus 7, 8, 10 years ago.
It's a great place.
Night and day.
Good staff.
You want to know, and you want to know one of the biggest differences? There's fewer local events and much more outside people coming in is what makes our economy that much stronger, because it's new dollars coming into the community thanks to what Mike's efforts and what he's doing. So our great partners over at the Lakeland Center, Mike, we certainly appreciate what you do and all the time and effort. It's been a blessing for Polk County. So
we enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, and some more good stuff is the Florida Southern College tennis team.
We got some great footage from that.
Absolutely.
You know, sort of an unheralded thing. Of course, we all hear about their baseball team, their basketball team, and softball and some other sports. Not so much about tennis, but you're going to find out why after this. Mark and Neil, we'll be back right after this. Stay with us, everyone.
I first started playing tennis when I was about 8 years old. I grew up in a small town in Texas called Vernon. My brother played, and he kind of got me into it, so that's where I kind of started. I wouldn't say that there's one particular big name tennis player out there that inspired me to play. I would say mainly the biggest reason I got into tennis was my oldest brother played, and I wanted to be just like him. I wanted to do everything he did. And to go along with that, all my brothers inspired me to pick up sports in general in the first place, but then I slowly started moving towards tennis because of my oldest brother. biggest accomplishment, first of all, is my goal in tennis was to get a college tennis scholarship and be able to compete at a high level. So being able to come to college and reach that goal of getting a scholarship to play and do something that I love is probably one of the biggest accomplishments that I've had in tennis. My favorite shot is I love serving because I'm in complete control. I can control everything that happens. It's me tossing the ball up. It's me doing whatever I want with it. I would say that's probably my most effective too, is my serve. But other than that, I don't hit real big. I'm not the flashiest guy on the court, but I'll sit back and I'll run all day. So my footwork and my conditioning hopefully is a weapon that can hurt some people. One of the biggest things that I want to work on is being able to step into my forehand and take my opponent off the court and be able to finish it at the net. Tennis is so huge mentally, and I feel like I've grown so much throughout my time here at Florida Southern. But it definitely needs to improve, and it definitely needs to get better, just because it's the biggest part of tennis is just being able to mentally tough and go out there and play matches. You can come out here and practice all day and play unbelievable, but then once you get in the match, mentally something's different. So I want to be able to practice and play matches as much as I can so I can be mentally prepared for that. I strained my lat in one of the first matches of the season, and I was just trying to get through the matches throughout the whole year, trying to do some rehab and just be able to give everything I had on the court during the matches. I went for a serve. I was feeling good actually the day, and first or second game I hit a serve, and my lat just popped, and I tore some of the smaller muscles in it. So that ended up ending my season. I can tell you, my whole life, I've never had to sit out this long before. I've always been able to practice or train or do something, so it's a new experience to me. But I want to be able to go out there and just fight and give everything we have, and I want everybody on our team to do so. And if we do that, then all my expectations will be met. At school, I studied business. I got a business degree. It was a focus in sport management. I just graduated, but fortunately for me, I redshirted my freshman year, so another year eligibility, so I'm going to continue here at Florida Southern and get my MBA. I actually have 2 summer jobs. I've been pretty busy, working about 60 hours a week. I'm doing an internship at a mortgage firm. Something completely different than anything I've ever done in my whole life. I've always been around sports, but I wanted to do something that gave me some more experience, just doing something different, maybe find out something I like. And I also work at Riverstrand Golf and Country Club. On my iPod, who don't I have? I listen to just about everything. I listen to country, I'll listen to rock. Since most of my teammates are international, they love house music, so I listen to a lot of that. But if I had to name an artist, I listen to a lot of Eric Church. But to get kind of amped up for a match, I listen to something maybe a little more heavy pace, like some Rise Against or something like that. I want to focus on school, and I want to focus on my team, and I want to focus on tennis. And I'd love to stay in athletics. I love sports, but I don't know exactly what I'm most passionate about that I want to work towards. But hopefully, if you came back and asked me that question in a year, I'll be able to tell you.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson here along with Neil Duncan for segment number 2.
Which is brought to you by Travelodge, a great partner of Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing. But I'm really excited about this next interview we have because I've heard in the past that starting a football program from the ground is a very hard task to do, and of course my love for football, I can't wait to talk to our next guest.
Well, we do have a very special guest, as promised at the beginning of the show, and that is Kevin Jones. AD at Warner University for 2 years now, but in the process, not only of changing the sports programs, which we're going to talk about, but also the athletic culture at Warner University. Kevin, welcome to the show, and we'll kick it off with any sports program at a university has its own unique culture, and then you have subcultures within each sports discipline. You've got a challenge because it's a Christian university. You combine that with competition, sometimes you're sort of on the edge, not only you, but the players. How are you handling things, and what are you looking to accomplish here in the next few months, next few years?
Well, first, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a great process, and I think to answer that question, what we really have to start with is getting the right coaches in place. And really it comes down to casting a vision, sharing that vision with everybody who's interested in the sport, depending on what it is. And we started out with football, for example. We've got a great head coach, Coach Jeff Schaum, who's been in the business for a while, and lay the vision out, and that attracts a certain type of people. And that's what we're looking for. So changing the culture within football, I think the reputation alone it's a little bit more physical, maybe barbaric, and so that was the fun thing for us to try to accomplish. And
right.
Jeff and I sat down, I worked at another university, and we knew each other. We talked about starting football there, never worked out. When I started at Warner, I think I was there for just a few hours, and I got a call from him, hey, you're going to start football. So we started that relationship. We cast the vision and shared it with our administration and our board, who are very supportive and just excited about it. So it starts with getting the right guy in charge, getting the right staff that he has on his team. He's hired some great assistant coaches, and getting a foundation of who we recruit and how we recruit them. And that's really what we did to start that off with. And still you have surprises. I think in any school in Florida could have 300 football players, if they wanted to. There's just such a passion in that sport. Fan base is huge. And what we get, I think when we first announced football, it was in the spring. And we were going to have a squad come in the fall, just a few months later. And we were conservative. We figured we'd have 20, 30 players. We were basically holding the gates closed, and I think we ended up with 86 the first year, and that's just after a few months. And Coach Schaum was alone at the time, so he was going 24 hours a day, working football and getting his vision out there. We got some great people in, great support from the faculty, and again the administration has been great. Our president is real supportive, and he's very involved in what we do, so we're real thankful for that. So it's not easy in changing the culture.
I would think that when you get that phone call, yes, we're going to do football, you're excited, and then it hits you. We're starting football.
Exactly.
Where do you even start to begin? I know you said with the coach, but there's got to be so many things. I mean, all the way down to the athletic tape of wrapping the players.
Right.
I mean, that's a fixed cost.
Yeah, I think that probably our training staff were the first to freak out. Everybody else was excited, but they realized what was involved. But we studied it pretty well, and some of the stuff you still get those surprises. For example, spending so much on athletic tape is something we didn't realize, and goodness, we have 3 ice machines, but that's not going to be enough because these guys all need ice baths, and they're not normal size typically. So, and then the cafeteria folks, it's a little bit different when you have 86 people who like to eat come through the doors, and so it's been fun. It's been a neat process. A lot of prayer, and preparation, and then still you got to realize that every day is going to be different. There's going to be a different challenge ahead, and you just you got to go with the punches, roll with the changes, and try to stay on top of it.
When's your first game?
We start August 31st at Stetson.
So you're away.
We're away.
Okay, that may be a good thing.
It is.
But I know you play Weber sometime this year as well, like in the middle of September, right?
Right. Yeah, we play them in Lake Wales.
Okay.
And it's kind of being across the lake from each other. The Calusa Clash is what we're calling the Calusa Lake Clash. And we've been real involved with them. And to start this program, and like I said, our community at Warner has been very supportive, but the help Weber has given us, and we've met several times, and their staff from their AD, Bill Heath, who's a recent Hall of Fame inductee, great guy, and Kelly's been helping our coaches, and it's just been neat to see that happen. And also with Southeastern starting, there's that feeling that this is an opportunity for Polk County to have 3 collegiate football teams competing, and it's just an impressive thing. And we're all rivals, but I think there's a lot of love between us, and we're all on the same page for what we're doing. So it's been fun. But the game against Weber is going to be real exciting, and starting away helps because we can kind of get the jitters out, take a fan bus, and get things going for our community as well.
We talk about having 3 teams right here in Polk County playing collegiate football. You look at the state of Florida, and when the big 3 are good, college football is better for it. Florida, Florida State, Miami, and you got to think
Florida State a team.
You've got to think that I'm just going to ignore that. You've got to think that kind of same thing. Because you've got 2 games that you don't have to travel very far, so it's good for your program and cost.
Right.
But also the competitiveness and being able to have the Polk County championship versus the state of Florida championship, like the Big 3 have.
Right.
How will that help in recruiting as far as going against Weber or going against Southeastern?
And one of the reasons we started mission-wise there's not a Christian college program in the area. Ave Maria is down a bit, but if you're not a D1 prospect in Florida, there were little options until Weber stepped up and started football. I mean, a lot of our athletes, especially from Polk County, even go up to the Midwest where they have D3 and NAIA ball more than we did down here. So it really filled a niche that we have, keep our talent in Florida. There's as private schools like Weber, Southeastern, and Warner, there are advantages for staying in state. You get the Florida Resident Access Grant, which is some money there. We don't give full rides for scholarships, but we award heavily academically, as do the other schools. So it's kind of a neat fit. If somebody has the gift in them to play football, and that's something they want to do at the collegiate level, then we want to work towards that and help them, answer the call they have in that area of their life. And it's a real neat thing to hear the stories.
One of the things that I've, and I think a lot of our viewers are interested in, and questions that have been asked, where are the players coming from?
We have a lot from Polk County, certainly, Tampa, Orlando, down in the Miami area. I would say that it's pretty scattered but we do get a lot of Polk County talent.
Any out-of-state kids?
We get a lot of transfers that are interested in.
Really?
What happens is an athlete here at the high school level that does very well decides that they want to play college ball. They're recruited heavily by a school. They realize they get up there, it's pretty cold. They're far from home, and we get a lot of calls saying, I just want to be closer to my family so they can see me play. So they work on transferring down. So a lot of transfers come from Florida that have gone away far from home. They want to come back. And that's been neat to see, and it's been neat to meet all these people. And one of the things that I enjoy is meeting the families and the players that are interested in coming and just getting to know them a bit.
So they're practicing now, I'm assuming.
They begin August 5th for the fall.
2 days.
Yep. He's got Coach Shum and his staff having
Anymore,
going from 7 in the morning till
What about the
11
academics?
at night. Academics is
the same. They have to have the same kind of ACT,
yeah,
SAT.
Exactly. It's NAIA rules. Which
Okay,
is,
so that's the
yeah.
they have to
we follow
adhere to
that, and you're not eligible unless you meet those requirements.
Right.
Did you meet any requirements, or they just let you in?
I have a degree. That's all I'll say. I have a degree.
There you go.
So tell us about the ins and outs of the recruiting. Because we hit on it a little bit before, but if you're looking for a particular philosophy within your athletic department, and now you have something new, obviously you want to win as quickly as possible, because when you win, you have more people in the stands, you generate revenue, you try to offset some of the costs, because football, I think, is probably the most costly sport to equip for. How do you walk that line? How do you make sure you're getting the best players and adhering to your mission?
It was interesting when I became AD, and we have a great coaching staff in our 19 sports, but we sat down and said together we need to work to build on what was here before. And there was a great AD before me who left, and what we're trying to do is just build on that. And the foundation of I consider us to be a Christ-centered university. Mm-hmm. So we used to look for, in basketball, for example, a 7-footer and say, oh man, I hope he lines up with what we're looking for faith-wise. Well, now we really need to look at what we're looking for as far as a Christian student and say, let's look within that group and look for a 7-footer. So it changes what we do a little bit. And I might add, Warner is evangelistic as far as our Christian faith, where you don't have to be a Christian to go there, but we let them know up front, this is what you're going to experience when you're here. All of our athletes, students, whether they're a math major or a football player, go to chapel twice a week. And we're very heavily involved with Mark Wilson and Scooter and the guys in this area in Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we require them to go to those things. So, if that's something that maybe they're not a complete buy-in, but they're interested in, then that's something that we hope to use to help build them spiritually, physically, and academically. And you mentioned academics, and that's something that's real important too. Right. We have to recruit honestly. We have to tell them these are what our 27 majors are, right. And we want you to do what you feel like you're supposed to do in your life. What God has put on your heart, we want you to do that. If it lines up with what we do, then let's work and see if we can get you here. Right. So that's real important. It's really a threefold thing between academics, athletics, and spirituality.
Let's talk a little bit more about, or not a little bit more, let's talk a little bit about some of the other sports that you have going on. Softball program, maybe a little bit like football, because there's so much talent. It's a bastion for girls fast-pitch softball talent in Polk County. It's just phenomenal. And so many of these kids have good Christ-centered backgrounds, Christian worldview, and so on. Katie Clement is your coach, And actually, she's a new head coach, but you've got some returning assistant coaches. I know that. What are your expectations in softball?
You know, we've been very strong in softball, and Katie was part of the program, and she was an assistant coach last year. And we had, our coaching staff's been great throughout the history with Coach Gary, and then Lindsay Littlejohn Egley was our coach, and she attracted a lot of attention, did a great job. She really worked to rebuild the program. She made some decisions roster-wise to bring in the right people. Recruiting was really good. Katie was part of that, and assistant coach Eddie Martin was in that, and they're just building on that. But Katie brings an excitement, and we had a lot of interest in that position, interviewed a lot of great coaches. But the thing about Katie Clemente that really touched us and those that interviewed her was just her commitment to build on that Christ-centered program in softball. I think skill-wise she's got it, and she is a younger coach. This is her first job, and so that's exciting for me too, to watch her develop and watch her grow into that. But
well, Eddie's returning, Eddie Martin.
Yeah.
And he's good. I talked with him before. Got a new assistant, Rebecca Terwilliger.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. She just. Where'd she come from?
She came from, I believe her playing career included Weber.
Okay.
But then she is one that, and this may seem weird, but she contacted me and said, I really feel like I want to do something here at Warner. And we talked to her about her softball experience, really impressed with her. And after I hired Katie Clemente, I said, hey, why don't you talk to Rebecca? She was a really good fit for our university, and just see if she matches. And Katie interviewed her like she did the other assistants. Said, wow, she's great. Let's see if we can bring her on board. And she really meets what we're looking for. We can, if somebody's interested in mentoring and spending some time sewing into the life of these student athletes, then we'll take whatever we can get from them. And I believe that this is something that's right in her wheelhouse. So it's going to be fun to watch that team develop and the coaching staff.
A lot of new coaches, a new football team. What's next? What's coming down the
every
pipe?
day. Boy, I wish I could plan a day, but there's so many fun surprises in this position I never really knew were coming. And the transitions that we've had in adding staff, that's something that continues. I think that as we move on, I think we'll get to the point now where I'd like to see growth stay steady, but for us to take what we have and really improve it. And I'm an AD whose wins losses aren't the utmost to me. I want to win. I want to be the best small college in the area. We've had some success. Our men's basketball, Sean Hanrahan, has done a great job with men's basketball, gone to the national tournament, and he recruits very well. He mentors well, and things that people don't realize about somebody like him is, he could probably go somewhere and coach and make more money, but he feels a tie into Warner. He has his whole team go to breakfast at his house Sunday mornings, and he takes them all to church with him, and that's stuff you don't see on the win-loss column. So he's winning, but he's also developing his program. We have Jeff Sykes, legend in baseball, been there 30 years. We just inducted him into the Warner Hall of Fame, but he is Warner. I look at him with all our coaches and say, you know what? Look at Coach Sykes, and this is where we all want to be. We all want to have that impact, and someday, maybe Jeff Sykes Stadium on campus there, he's made such an impact.
Yeah.
Bringing in great people like John Dunlop, who was at Southeastern and Weber before that. He's been instrumental in developing the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and the chaplain program that we have within our department.
Good stuff. Look, Kevin, we've unfortunately have to go to break, but we talked pretty much the whole segment about developing the program, your vision for the program, but doing something more for the students there. And if you could sum it all up, I think that the most important thing that you're developing, the student's character. And it doesn't get any more important than that. So congratulations to you. Of course, Warner University is a great institution, great academics, and now a great sports program. So we'll look forward to talking with you more as the football season goes on, which is not too far away, believe it or not. I mean, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, we're actually talking about sending our PGTV crew out there and getting the first practices and some of that stuff. So we might bring you some of that, a look into starting a football program.
Thanks so much.
Oh, thank
Kevin,
you.
You bet.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, everyone, we have one more. Actually, we have two more very special segments. This one is actually our athlete feature, up close and personal, with Dalton Scarborough, a baseball player out of Haines City High School. Check this out. another something you like.
Well, I started playing baseball at the age of 5, and really my dad is the one that got me starting the sport. I like mostly just out there running around, playing with my teammates and stuff, just my friends. I mean, just having fun, really. My family really inspires me. I mean, that's the reason why I'm here, is my family. So I mean, they're the ones that inspire me. Well, I play third most of the time, and I come in and pitch, but I've pitched all 3 of the playoff games that we've played in right now in regionals, and I've won all 3. And I ended up being the 7A Player of the Year also on top of that. Well, I plan on playing ball in college and getting an education. Education comes first for me, so I mean, if I don't make it to the majors, then I got something to fall back on at least. I got an education. Well, math's my favorite subject because it's the easiest to me. I mean, I'm good with numbers. I ain't really good at reading, but I don't know, it just comes easy to me. Well, I want to major in criminal justice. I want to become a game warden because I like being outdoors, fishing, hunting, all that stuff. It's just me. That's what I like doing. My favorite athlete's Tim Hudson, just the way he prepares himself for a game and the way he just comes out there on the mound and takes control of the game, has good tempo. He's a good player. Well, I just kind of sit there and think what I'm going to do for tonight, and just sit there and just kind of keep to myself and not really try to talk to anybody. Just want to keep to myself and just keep thinking about the game and just get myself pumped up. Well, we practice Monday through Saturday, 2:30 to 6 on Monday through Friday. And Saturday, we start at 9 o'clock in the morning, go till 1 o'clock in the afternoon is usually what we do. And usually we just take BP, we do a lot of things. It's hard. There's so many things we do, I just don't even really know. My free time, I like to fish and hunt. That's what I mainly do, fish and hunt every day. My best friend would describe me as fun and energetic and just a good person to be around, have a good time with. If I had to describe myself in one word, it'd be a competitor, because I just can't stand losing, and I just look forward to coming out there and winning. I do not like losing at all. Well, the best moment in high school would be going to the state finals. It's the first time in school history, and it's just something I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to be there.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. If you're just joining us, I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Mr. Neil Duncan. It is a pleasure. It's an honor to have you in the studio today.
Well, thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure and honor to be with you.
Looking kind of dapper here. And
Before we derail too far, this segment brought to us by the Best Western in Auburndale, great partners of tourism and sports marketing. And this next segment is kind of unique. We actually sent you out on the town, and that's never really a good idea. But no, you've talked about the Wright School of Dance and the championship they brought home, and you actually go out there and able to visit with them.
It was really a lot of fun. The Wright School of Dance went to Panama City and won national championships. They were phenomenal, but they were even more phenomenal, more so than the way I say phenomenal, in the studio. It was some really, really good stuff. Amy Wright and Linda Howard are the two, I'm not sure if you call them coaches or dance instructors, whatever. Of course, Wright School of Dance. Amy was danced on Broadway. She met her husband, who danced on Broadway, sang on Broadway, rather famous in the performing arts field out of New York and in Vegas and other places. So it was really, really fun. And then talking to some of the kids, Jordan Myers, I remember talking with her, Rachel Aiken and Caroline Aiken, some of the kids that I at least remembered, obviously had a big impression on me, and they really, really struck their stuff. They're good kids.
Well, we often talk about on this show the dance and cheer events we bring into the county, but this is a county group that went somewhere else and actually won a championship. So some great footage here.
Well, it's interesting because I actually had 2 years of jazz dance, and believe it or not, and did it when I was still many years ago, skiing at Cypress Gardens as part of our adagio. I mean, Russell Daly, one of our cameramen, remembers that. He's got a big smile on his face. But Anyway,
I got to be honest with you. I got to stop you right there. I pray there's footage of that somewhere. I want to see that.
if there is, it shall be burned. But it is good. And these kids are true athletes, believe me, because it's an athletic event. From the Wright School of Dance, the Wright Step School of Dance. Here's the interview, everybody. Check it out. This is a lot of fun. Hello, everybody. Mark Jackson here with PGTV Sports Central in a very special segment. Today, we're sort of celebrating a national championships, and as many of you know, Polk County is a hotbed for world-class athletes, and it's been that way forever. Whether it's the NFL, Major League Baseball, the Olympics, Polk County produces probably more world-class athletes than any other place in the state of Florida. It's very simple. We have a lot of talent, and we have some great coaches. With me now, we have Amy Wright and Linda Howard. Linda, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Ladies, you're up in Panama City. You won some national championships in dance. That takes talent. Tell us a little bit about the competition. It was called CAR, correct?
Yes, it's called CAR. It's Kids Artistic Review. And it was Panama City. There were studios from all over the United States, and they each compete in different levels and in different age groups and in different genres of dance. And we had 13 different routines that competed.
13 different routines. Okay, I'm going to go to sort of the athletic coach here. Linda Howard, if you don't know her, she should be familiar to most of you, is also a swim coach with the Winter Haven Stingrays. And Linda, this is kind of your real job when you're not coaching swimming.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about these routines. They combine jazz, ballet maybe, a little tumbling?
Most of these kids do all the different genres of dance, and so yes, they do tumbling. They come to the studio and take at least 5 different types of classes. We work with stretch and conditioning, and then they do ballet and tumbling and jazz, all sorts of fun things.
So you kind of have to choreograph all of that into 13 different routines with all these lovely young ladies and young men, or handsome young men behind me.
Yes, Amy does most of the choreography. My job is to keep them in shape and clean them up, so to speak. So they love me.
Sarge over here. Amy, both you and your husband had an extensive background in dance, theater, on Broadway. Your husband was a singer. You both performed at Disney. I mean, the list could go on. This is sort of the reward for a long, very successful career on the highest, most visible stage in the world.
Yes, it's awesome. You know, when we were young and doing all that awesome stuff, it was all about us, and it was exciting, and it was awesome. We were so blessed to be so successful. And then when we moved back to Winter Haven, which is where Kevin is from, my dream was always to have a studio and to give my gift to children. And I absolutely love it, and it's rewarding to see them kind of learn so much from us, the two of us, and it's just exciting now that it's not all about us, it's all about them. And it's just exciting to see how much they grow every year.
Well, one of the interesting things for me, at least about dance, is you're combining world-class athleticism with the art of ballet and jazz. How tough is it in a competition to combine those two? It's a little different than Broadway.
It is, because you're not doing a complete show from beginning to end. So in a matter of 3 minutes, you're having to kind of create a storyline within 3 minutes and show off the technique that you have and show off the performance and, you know, show off each child's individuality, and not only individuality, but the group and the execution of how they can be so unison and be together. So it's tough, but it's fun.
So we have Mom and Sarge over here. We've got a great group, and if you're wondering where we are actually at Wright Step Dance Studio, which is at 316 Avenue C in Winter Haven, and they have a tremendous program here, 365 days a year, almost. I'll bet it seems like it.
It definitely seems that way sometimes. These kids are supposed to be stretching and working out 365 days a year.
Well, we're giving them a little bit of a break, and speaking of the kids, Let's go to the real stars of the show. Ladies, thank you so much. Okay. Wow. Look at these two. Now, these are two familiar faces to me. Jordan and Caroline. Girls, how happy were you to walk off that stage, national champions in Panama City, Florida? Jordan?
I could have jumped to the moon.
Could have jumped through the moon, okay. Caroline?
I was very happy.
Very, very happy. Well, that's cool. I mean, that's, you know, you go from the studio here to a national stage. That's pretty impressive. We've got a bunch of young ladies here, and I see that you all have your names on your jackets. What's your name?
Kylie.
Kylie, how old are you?
I'm 10.
You're 10 years old? And you're pretty good, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. How about you?
My name's Kennedy.
Kennedy, as in President Kennedy?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember who he was. Okay, that's okay. Now, are all you girls from Winter Haven?
Yes.
No. Who said no? Oh, now, where are you from?
Urbandale.
Auburndale? That's a cool place. You ever been to Lake Myrtle?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's talk to some more senior members. Boy, you have a smiley face. What's your name?
Brianna.
Brianna? What happened to your two front teeth? They're very handsome.
I lost them.
Oh, you did? Smooching boys? No smooching boys. Okay. Are you a good dancer, too?
Yes.
Okay, do you tumble?
S.
You tumble?
Yes.
All right. I think she's following in Sarge's footsteps here. Okay, ladies, you guys all know that a lot of NFL football players take dance, jazz dance and ballet. It's true, yeah, because it gives them better balance and it stretches them out. Okay, let's run over here to actually a sister duo over here, Rachel Aiken and her queen of comedy friend over here. Ladies, that's a long trip up there, and lots of time to think about what's going on. And did you get nervous before the competition?
Not really, but kind of, yeah, because they have a lot of good competition up there because they're from all over.
How about your dad and your mom? They give you a little bit of a lecture on the way up?
Oh, do your best, you better do your best, you better do your best.
No.
I guess not. Okay. You know, I need to swing over here and look at you have the prettiest red hair that I have ever seen. What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Pretty red hair and blue eyes. I'll bet you the guys just trip over themselves over you, right? Now, what acts did you perform in? What competitions?
Just sheep.
Just the sheep? That's still really important, isn't it?
Yes. Very important.
That's really cool. Now, how old are you?
11.
You're 11 years old, and you competed in a national competition.
Yes, sir.
Were you nervous?
No.
I didn't think so. She doesn't look like she's nervous. How about all you girls? You all from Winter Haven?
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
I'm homeschooled.
You're a homeschooler. I'm a big fan of homeschooling. That is great stuff. You know who's a famous homeschooler? You know who Tim Tebow is?
Mm-mm.
He's another NFL player, okay? And he's with the New England Patriots, and he's kind of a good-looking guy. I think some of the girls would agree. And he was homeschooled. Great guy. You're a woman of many words. All right, ladies. Man, look at the smile on this dude. What's your name?
Evan.
Evan, how old are you?
9.
9. What made you decide to get into dance?
I really liked it. It was fun, and I'm really good at it.
Modesty is a virtue. You ever hear about that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Confidence is good too, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what's your name?
Jesse Williams.
Okay, Jess, where are you from?
Auburndale.
Another person from Auburndale. You know where Lake Myrtle is, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I play soccer there.
Ah, you're an athlete in another sport. Which is tougher, soccer, dance?
I would have to say dance because it's a lot of memorization and like a lot of technique goes into it too.
You take ballet and jazz and tap?
No, sir. I do hip hop and a little bit of animation, which is like my own kind of little style of dance, I guess.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here they are, the 2013 CAR National Champions. They competed in 13 different competitions, drove 6 hours to Panama City to compete on a world stage. It doesn't get much better than that. And when I said that Polk County produces tremendous talent, it's a result of a lot of hard training, physical skill, ambition, perseverance, and some great coaches right here at the Right Step Dance Studio. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mark Jackson for PGTV's Sports Central. Welcome back to Sports Central. If you're just joining us, Mark Jackson here with my co-host, Mr. Neil Duncan. So what do you think, buddy? You did a pretty talented group of girls.
Yeah, you didn't do too bad. This segment brought to us by the Parkview Hotel.
Just keep laughing. Just keep laughing.
No, it was great. It's neat, and to see a group like that go out there, and we're very blessed here in Polk County to have so many athletes and good kids.
In a lot of different sports disciplines, too.
All the way from those young ones you were interviewing all the way up to collegiate and even professional ranks. And of course, we just recently had the All Sports Awards, and it's never hard to find athletes to recognize at that event. But great footage there. And again, Parkview Hotel sponsored the segment.
I don't think I've ever seen a county that has per capita has more talent than Polk County. Anywhere in the country.
You'd be hard pressed to find it. Speaking of, we have an event coming up that will showcase some of that talent. The 37th annual Polk County Amateur Championship. And that's a golf event.
That's coming up August 3rd and 4th.
At Lone Palm this
year.
year.
Lone Palm's a change of venue this year, and players I've talked to are really looking forward to the competition out there. And I'll tell you, that is a tough course. It's a lot tougher than people think, and it's an equalizer.
Well, and they're playing all the way back from the back tees. Yeah. And next show, we're going to have Lee White, an individual who was from Bartow and then played at Florida Southern College, golfer, and now he's turned professional. So we're going to talk to him next show about turning pro and the ins and outs of that. But he's won this event, so he can talk to us about the Polk County Amateur.
Yeah, and the ins and outs of that. Some of the players that you see in there, of course, Bruce Scamahorn, Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, yeah.
There's just been so many talented people that have played in that event over the years, and I think it's an interesting move from Lake Region that's undergoing some changes, by the way. And so many of the players were used to playing that, so they know the ins and outs. They know that this branch is hanging over this fairway, and
that you got to try to birdie this hole because you know that the course is playing hard, that the next hole, getting out of there with par, is at best what you can do. So it'll change things. Speaking of things that are different, trail to trail race, and then we talked about this on the radio version of Sports Central last night. This event's a one-of-a-kind race, bringing mountain bikers and road racers together for a little competition and fun.
Well, speaking of, you brought it up, so we might as well at least prep, but there's a radio version of this on 1430 WLKF, part of the Hall Communication Group, and Neil, at one time, that was one of the top 5 in a 32-station market for drive time on Thursdays, 5 to 6. So great radio family over there. Art Robotham, wow, what a delight he is to work with. And all the staff over there. You do your radio shows. You'd actually do 4
on Thursday morning.
On Thursday morning, and that's going over big. Well, when WPCV, for example, reaches 37 different counties that are hearing the Polk County message, just nonstop advertising and free advertising.
It really is, and we're able to promote events like this, like the one we're talking about, the Trail to Trail race, which I don't think I said the date. That's Sunday, August the 11th, and that'll be at Lois Harp Park.
Now, those are mountain bikes, though.
Yeah, mountain bikes and road racers, and I think you and Hank should be out there and figuring out how you guys can participate.
Well, I've got one for you.
No?
This is the next one, which is the inaugural. When I say inaugural, Neil, that means the first one.
Thank you.
Okay. Youth Rugby Skills Camp hosted by the Tampa Bay Crewy.
Yeah, this is going to be August 24th and 25th at Lake Parker Soccer Complex, and be 2 camps, women's coaching clinic. We'll run adjacent to each of the other skills levels that benefit, and it'll just be a great event.
2 fastest growing sports in the United States right now. Of course, lacrosse is number 1 by far, but rugby's right up there too. Rugby is really coming on strong. We've had a lot. We had the USA rugby team here in Polk County playing the Canadians. We've had the female USA rugby team here. So rugby is not a stranger to Polk County, but the sport itself is.
No, it's not. And of course the lacrosse as well. And you look at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park, you look at Lake Parker, we have great venues to host these type of things. The new venue up there at the I-4 and 27 area, just great investments that not only the Tourism and Development Council has put dollars into, but the Board of County Commissioners. It's quality of life for the citizens, but it's also venues that we can generate economic impact by bringing events into Polk County. So
remember why? Because tourism and sports, they're exports.
Yep.
Think about that one.
Yep.
New money coming in, products and services going out, but lots of rugby stuff coming up. It's rather interesting, the Youth Rugby High Performance Camp. And if you want more information, what you can do is you can check out visitcentralflorida.org, or better yet, centralfloridasports.com. Get all the information you want, or you can even call 551-4700 for more information about any of the events we are talking about. We actually have a women's rugby coaching clinic. That's hard to believe, August 24th and 25th. And that's from 9 to 4, and wow, cool.
Yeah, and don't forget, softball's always been a staple here in Polk County. And on August 31st and September 1st, we have the Freedom Sports Co-ed States, which will be at Diamondplex over there in Winter Haven. We also have the Backwoods Challenge, which is a 5K mud obstacle course. I know that name grabs your attention.
Because what's my favorite TV show?
Exactly.
Duck Dynasty, of course, except for Sports Central.
Yeah, of course. Got some sponsors we want to thank that make this show and tourism and sports marketing possible: the Florida Department of Citrus, Legoland Florida, Contempo Vacation Homes, Hampton Inn Lakeside Village, and Ramada Inn Lakeland. Just a few of the partners that make this all possible.
Absolutely. And we do need to thank our very special guest, Kevin Jones from Warner University, promoting a Christian worldview. Many thanks go out to Kevin, and a great job he's doing over there. And of course, Mike LePan. What a blessing he has been as well to Polk County, and all that he does, not only in the world of sports, but in the world of performing arts and other arts and cultural activities. So we are certainly blessed to have both gentlemen and all the talent here. Like I said before, I don't think there's another area per capita that has more talent than Polk County.
No,
so I'd be hard-pressed to beat it. Well, everyone, our next program, our next live show, that is coming up August 9th. However, you can see and hear Neil and Mark every single day. The following dates and times, check it out. This is Mark Jackson for Neil Duncan. Thank you so much for joining us, and on behalf of the PGTV production crew, we bid you adieu, and we'll see you next time.